morning, students. Today we will be starting lesson 26, perimeter and area. And the lesson vocabulary for today that we have to focus on is formula, which is a mathematical relationship that is expressed in the form of an equation. For an example, A equals L times W, which means area equals length times width. So we're going to review the following key terms: perimeter, the distance around a two-dimensional shape. The perimeter is equal to the sum of the lengths of the sides. When we say the sum, that is the result that you get when you add two numbers together. The area is the amount of space inside of a two-dimensional figure. So which means if you have a square, this is the area on the inside and outside is the perimeter. Okay? And decompose to split up into parts. So that means you're going to break it down and split it into parts. So today on the introduction page, on page 272, we're going to begin by using what you know. And you have learned that you can find the perimeter of a rectangle by adding the length of the sides. So let's take a look at this problem. Okay. Marissa has 64 feet of fencing. She is using the fencing to border a rectangular flower garden. Marissa wants the length of the garden to be 20 feet long. So this is the length. She wants this to be 20 feet long. Okay. If she uses all of the fencing, what will the width of the rectangular garden be? So all of the fencing. So the total number of fencing she has is 64 feet of fencing. Okay. So let's look at alphabet A. To solve the problem, do you use perimeter or area? Explain how you know. Okay, so to solve this problem, we're going to use the perimeter. We're going to use the outside in order to find out what the area is on the inside. So because you're trying to find out the outside, the inside of the space is not what you would use. So for this answer, you should have perimeter. Okay. Let's look at B. How do you find the perimeter of a rectangle? Okay. So you find the perimeter of the rectangle by adding the length of the sides. So you find out all the way around. Okay. You find out all the way around by adding all the sides. Okay. So add the lengths of the sides. That's what you would have for B. Okay. How much fencing is there in all? So let's go back to the problem, the original problem. It says Marissa has 64 feet of fencing. So in all, you should have 64 feet. And let's look at D. What is the length of the garden? How many sides of this length does the garden have? And what is the total length of these sides? So the length of the garden already says right here, Marissa wants the length of the garden to be 20 feet. So right here, it's already labeled. The length of the garden is 20 feet, okay? So if you have two sides, that means the other side is going to be what? 20 feet, okay? So you can add 20 plus 20, which will give you 40, or you can multiply 20 times 2, which will give you 40. So you have the length is 20 feet. You have two sides. So the total is going to be 40 feet. You're going to have 40 feet total length of the sides. Okay. So let's look at E. How much fencing is left to make the other two sides? Explain how to find this length. Okay. So originally we started out, we said Marissa has 64 feet of fencing. Okay. So that's 64 feet of fencing. Okay. And the length on both sides together, 20 times 2 is 40. So you're going to subtract the length minus the total. The total minus the length. 4 minus 0 is 4, and 6 minus 4 is 2. So what you have left is 24. Okay, so 64 feet minus 40 feet is 24 feet, which is going to be left for the other two sides. Okay, so you have a question mark here, And you don't have anything here. So we don't have the numbers for the two sides right here. So what we're going to do, that's 24 feet left for the other side. So F says, explain how you can find the length of the other two sides of the rectangle. So if you have 24 left and you have two sides, we're going to take 24 divided by 2. 2 is going to be your divisor. 24 is going to be your dividend. So how many sets of 2? Okay, we got a 2. That would be 1. 1 times 2 is 2. Bring down your 4. How many groups of 2 can you get out of 4? 2. 2 times 2 is 4. And you have a remainder of 0. So the other two sides will be 12. 12 here and 12 here. So now let's check to see if the answer, the total sum comes out to be 64 feet of fencing. Okay, we can add 20 plus 20 plus 12 plus 12, and we could put that in parentheses. So 20 plus 20 equals 40, plus 24 equals 64, so that's correct. Or you could have done multiplication, because remember I told you last week that multiplication is simply repeated addition. So we could have done 2 times 20 plus 2 times 12. Okay, so 2 times 20 is 40 plus 2 times 12 is 24. And you add your sum would be 64. So that's how we know our answer is correct. The length times the width. 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Okay, so let's move over to page 273 and finding out more. And again, the perimeter is just simply everything on the outside. Inside, this will be your area. Okay, that's your area. So length plus length, width plus width, or you can do 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. And this is the same thing I just explained to you guys how to get the perimeter. And the equation above is called the perimeter formula, which right here, 2 times length plus 2 times width. That's the formula right there. Same thing right here, 2 times length plus 2 times width. Okay, so let's look at the reflection. Let's reflect back on what was introduced at the beginning. So the perimeter of a rectangular poster is 14 feet, and the length is 4 feet. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's draw a little model here, right here. Okay, so the length, the perimeter of the poster, the length, the perimeter, the total is 14 right here. And the length is 4 feet, so we have 4 right here and 4 right there. Okay, so describe how to use the perimeter formula to find the width. Okay, so 14, which is the total, equals 2 times 4. So we have 4 here, the length, 4 and 4 right there. So that's 2 times 4 plus 2 times width. So we don't know what the width is, so we're just going to put question marks right there for right now. But we do know the formula would be 2 times the width. So 14 equals 8 plus 2 times the width, okay? So you're going to subtract the sum of the lengths. So the sum of the lengths is 8. So you're going to subtract 14 minus 8 is 6. So 6, you have two sides, 1, 2. So you're going to take 6 divided by 2 equals 3. Okay? So we know that each side right here is 3. And what we can do, we can add the total numbers together. So we can say 4 plus 4 plus 3 plus 3. 4 plus 4 is 8 plus 3 plus 3 is 6 equals 14. Or we can say 2 times 4 plus 2 times 3. Length, width, 8 plus 6 equals 14. Okay? So this is the introduction of perimeter and area. I need you guys to work the rest of your packet. I will be back on Thursday to give you the rest of the answers. If you have any questions anytime between that, between Thursday, please feel free to reach out to me on Dojo, and I will help you the best that I can. Being that I'm a little late getting this video up to you, you can contact me up until 10 tonight, and I will answer any questions that you may have. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye.